Alright, so for this next part, I'm just going to quickly talk about the world that we're in. I've built this not in the suburban environment, I believe this is the forest environment, and it's got a bunch of vegetation around, it's got grass on the ground, which is a very nice detail when you do get your renders out. However, my house is not on a subfloor. It has a concrete slab that I've just placed on the ground. And so the problem with that is I have grass over here growing, and it's actually come through my house into my carpet, which obviously we don't want. So I'm going to show you how to edit the landscape. So this next button across from our controls is the landscape button. The last one is weather, which we're not really going to worry about too much because there are other ways we will change our weather and our time of day experience as well, so we're not going to worry about this tab too much. The landscape tab, so to get rid of the grass or to put down grass, if you want to put down grass, is we're going to paint. So with this paintbrush, you can sort of go through these 4 tabs. So the first tab is the grass tab. Pressing this type will just change the texture underneath the grass. So you could pick a different type of grass or rock or anything, but our little white grass symbol on top shows that we'll be painting grass if we start drawing with this one. We've got a rock and a gravel, and this last one is another grass. So yeah, I'm going to stick with the grass one because I want to paint a plain, sorry, I'm saying grass. I want to paint a plain green base instead of a grass base. So that's this one here. Then these control my brush. So for starters, the brush size is quite big. You can see my circle reference. It obviously can go much larger, but I'm going to stick to something quite small because I'm just trying to get rid of this corner here, the grass that's there. Brush speed, so if I show you an example, when I left click, it's a bit slow. It starts to remove grass and paint our plain green surface. So of course you can speed that up. It kind of just stops it from being too harsh of a cut-off, really. You want it to look more natural. And then our tile size is actually how big our model texture looks. So we don't want that to be too large. And of course, if I've edited that, but I want to go back and undo, and that's fine as well. So yeah, we're going to just draw over this grass here to get rid of it in the house, and it's very slowly disappearing. All the way around. I'm just getting rid of it on that edge there. And then I can sort of follow the outline of my house. It happened to be in a spot that I knew didn't have much grass, but I just want to make sure there's no secret bits of grass in my renders when I least expect them. Yeah, I think that's fine. The rest of my rooms appear to be grassless for now. So that's a basic thing. Have a playthrough with the landscapes. Obviously not going too crazy like we said before. You can look at the different grass types. There are other ways to add things to our landscape, so particularly the nature materials, so we can place all our trees, plants, flowers, rocks, wood, leaves, so piles of leaves if you want them sort of like scattered around, things like that. So that's a few options as well. And then with sort of this forest environment, it's very customizable. It's sort of just an open space. You can make it seem a bit more homely by putting fences. Where's my fence? I've got a standard picket fence here, and you can fence your property. I'll show you a quick way to put a lot of them in instead of clicking and then being slightly apart accidentally. So I'm just gonna delete those real quick. So to do a whole lot of them, you can place as a point, which is what I was doing, place a line or place a cluster. So obviously we don't want to cluster our fence, but you could cluster some small plants or leaves, for example. For my fence though, I want it to follow a specific line. So I'm going to pick my start of the line. I'll just move around a little bit. Alright, so I might want it to be starting here. And so then I just clicked once there, sorry. And then I can choose which direction I want my placement to go. So I might want it to go, we'll go down this way. And so this point that I'm placing can go into the air. So this is placing it up on the roof where things will climb up. So when you're placing it on the ground, if you're placing it accidentally on a tree, it might start building into the sky. So try and get as close as you can with that. I'm going to go to something like here, and I'm just going to click that there. And then we come up with a few controls with this. So right now there are 5 fences in there, and obviously this is not how you want your fence. So we're going to change the direction of our fences to 90 degrees off. Oh, yeah. And I can press Shift and very lightly change that. So that's now 90 degrees. Number, these are solid numbers, integers, sorry, so you can't kind of half a fence. So when it gets something like this, you might think you could fit another one in, 12, and then 13, and you start to just look at how it's overlapping. And if it's such a small thing like that, we can just drag our path a little bit longer and just see how well it lines up. Perfect. So things like the last 3 are probably better for landscaping. So I'm going to save this fence by doing our confirm click button over here. Once I do that, I can't edit any of this anymore. They all become individual fence items that you can edit individually, so it's no longer a whole line. So then if I was going to place, for example, some little bushes, I can go into my nature. I've got a few saved actually. So say I want to put these little bushes in. Let's go alongside the house here. So I've got my line selected. I'm going to click once here and drag it across to here. And there we've got 5 of my little bushes. I'm then going to add another, and I'm just going to click on another plant that I would like to alternate with those bushes and then replace it like that. So now they will alternate randomly. I'm going to increase my number of plants so it fills in, and then I can pick another one if I want. Add another there. Maybe these are a mix of a large and smaller bushes, so you can add as many as you like, and it really changes the randomization. So sometimes when you have plants like this, you might not want it to be perfectly linear. You can randomize the spacing along the lines, so that's like the distance between the next item, randomize offset from the line, which you can get to quite large if you're just chucking random bushes around in the backyard. For this, I might keep it somewhat close, but still a little bit off. And then randomize directions, a lot more obvious with many of the same plant right next to each other. Or if you were doing rocks in a line, and all your rocks were identical facing the same direction, it might look a bit strange. So play around with the line placement, mass and cluster placement as well. So yeah, you can have a lot of fun with the landscaping as well. Right. So that's our sort of exterior world view. And for the next video, I'll quickly talk about placing objects inside the house. Thanks.